So day 9. Well, my webcam is dead. I don't know why. It starts to tweak the fuck out. Should buy a new one sooner or later, or I should set up my phone and just use that. In the meantime, I actually already, so I was lagging behind. I did reckless, and now I'm gonna take a look at heavy. Hopefully this one takes a little bit. Hopefully this is a little bit easier to do. I'm talking as if it isn't my choice of what the fuck am I doing. But yeah, right on. So today's we're taking a look at, I've got a nice reference of a hiker. So I'm thinking about putting him over here. Sounds about fine. Yeah, maybe should I divide it a little bit? Okay, so this is the direction of his head. Then we can... Now the perspective of the shoulders, I'm not certain because my instinct is going like that. But I guess... But in reality he sits like this. Or should I say short, tiny bit shorter because he's looking in that direction? Then there's the legs. Which this is the front one, this is the rear. And we go for shoes. Now if I take the distance from the legs, the torso, the legs are very short. That can be fixed very easily. I'm just gonna bring them up. Now, I think they're still way small. Like, am I tweaking? Still looks bad. First off, let's make it a tiny bit smaller. And let's give him even more legs. Now, technically, I should go more, but I think that I've reached my plausibility limit. Might be because my head is way too big. Like, technically... Yeah, no. I'm gonna stop here and see what happens. So yeah, anyway. Let's bring down an arm. We bring down the other arm, shoulder. So one leg goes in the front. Not gonna lie, every time that I get to draw shoes, I remind myself that shoes, or should I say feet, because at the end of the day it's on the feet, so that's the difficult stuff. It's very hard to draw to any degree of it looks good or even it looks decent. Okay. So this is the rough. Now, out of the details that I chose, let's run. So here is the rope. Maybe let's take it. I don't know. Maybe let's take it to 2 levels. So should start with first off render the man, because I don't feel great into doing all at once. Like that must feel better when you know what the fuck you're doing. Right now, I often feel very bad to render everything else all at once. So gonna go top down. There's the glasses. There's the nose. And here is the ski suit. Okay. Now over here we can put a little bit of gray, because this is not his skin, but rather his bandana. And then a little reflection over here. Maybe in black. All right. So there's one. But it feels a bit stiff. Okay. Now that's a tiny bit more natural. As for the shoulder, let's get it closer. Maybe even higher. Am I still drawing in gray? Why does it feel so? All right, I'm 12. Okay, this is a little bit better. Okay, and the folds are forming like this wavy pattern. Finally, this is where it connects. Maybe we can even do something like this to signalize, to signal, to signal the connection there. And everyone's favorite part, fingers. Okay. Gonna say not too shabby. So there goes the chest. This is my hand. And then the other part of the hand. Now this is where it should be attaching, so let's play it a little bit by ear. Yeah, well, sometimes that's how it's gonna go. Now let's put my guy some trousers on. I don't see any stretching that goes on over there, but I'm gonna assume that this is what happens. Has a belt with a lot of shit on there, so I'm not gonna draw that part. I'm gonna just dodge it and put some folds. Now for the feet, he actually goes for shorts, which is insane to be that covered in one part and absolutely nothing in the rest, but it looks funny, so funny will do. So yeah, today was actually a hard day to get into streaming. Not because I wasn't feeling like it. Actually, I was a lot. It's always the temptation that the fact that I cannot do it. I think that it will always lead me to, or always, it will often lead me to not go for it. I'm I'm curious why this was never the case with the gym. Like, yeah, I tried gym once and it didn't work out. I was like 15 at the time, so I don't blame myself too much into not working out when I was 15. It's just I had a PlayStation, okay, so that's more than enough reasons to dodge something that's better, like something that's very easier to go. But with the drawing part, I don't quite understand. I feel like I should be able to. Okay. Let me chill down a second. This is the part that I think like doesn't quite work. I don't understand. It keeps bugging me. But yeah, the drawing part is hard, and following out the Twitch after the first day Fallout, I feeling like I'm using the excuse of being behind, so not to dodge the drawing. And this is not okay. Because it's one of those things that I don't want actively to do in the same way that, say, you want to watch a movie. But I do want to do it in the same way that you want to work out to feel good. I haven't done any. I haven't done any major progress in my physique in years. Uh, but I still feel great when I work out, so that keeps me motivated. In the drawing, it isn't very clear when there's any, if there's even any improvement. You can take it by looking back, but it's a little less satisfying than a number that goes up. I think that's the part. It's very easy to trace how much you progress thinking about workouts. And by the same time, it's also easier to understand what's the next step to progress. You just do harder, faster, you just do more, you know. While the drawing, it is not necessarily clear when there's progress. And also, even if we take an account maybe that you're gonna take a look and see your progress, so that's one way in which you can actually understand it. The big deal is also that even if there is progress, it's not very clear how to go next. Like, it's not a linear studying path. Unlike something simpler like working out. So I think that this adds a little bit to the tension of not wanting to do it, because you can always feel it can always go in an unnoticed way or in the unsatisfied route. The fuck? Okay, the laces shit is actually demonic. Can I even do it like this? Okay, this is making more sense. I try to not. Okay, yeah, this is shit, but the right one is better. So in that sense, it is a little bit less satisfying. With Twitch, I'm not actively aiming to have people watch to me. I'm not promoting my channel and whatnot. But it does feel like I need to stay and talk alone. Or even if there are people who watch the show who are watching me, it's still bizarre because I don't have the feedback that I usually do when there are people around me as I speak. So that does also feel a lot more bizarre than it should. Or should I say, it is more bizarre to have this kind of interaction than the normal ones, which is to be expected, I guess. I want to say that that's something completely wild. Also because I personally bounce a lot off people rather than being, say, singularly funny or singularly entertaining. I think that I'm less entertaining on my own as if I'm in a group, or that's how I perceive myself. So not having people around, it makes it a tiny bit harder to express more of my personality. Like sometimes people can hang here and that helps a lot. When that's not the case, it is actually I can actually feel me struggling to keep up on my own. Again, I believe that that's to be expected. It's not something that you. It's not something natural to be speaking to a camera. So for me to want it to work just like that is probably a bit contrived. But if nothing else, my confidence has started to become to be better and better thanks to the Inktober. It just is very liberating to see and to showcase that yes, I am a novice, but it always felt bad to not share my art or to be very stingy about sharing stingy about sharing it because it feels stupid to not be proud of making progress. But even more, it feels stupid to do something that I want to share to the world in perfect secrecy up until the last moment, up until my comic book will be up. It is probably a better idea even to share, just even so that I can use it as mm, not motivation, not wouldn't be the correct term, but more like feedback or to see if there's I can gather some attention from someone, even my friends. I am less worried about that I would think of because little by little the satisfaction in keeping up the my pace is actually overshadowing little by little the idea of how long it's been taking for the comic book. Like I got into mindset that this is not something that gets done in a week or a month. Probably not even 1 year. Probably speaking like the comic books, the mangas take years and they draw every day with assistance. Like, producing more than that is simply not feasible. And I'm little by little starting to understand and not feeling it as a duty or an obligation to be out there chasing it. Got gotten always more and more focused on the mission at point, and even simply simplifying what I'm trying to do. Just because the simpler is what I'm trying to achieve, the easier is my timing to convincing myself to do it. Time and time again, I tried my best to, let's say, I one-upped myself, and that never ends up in something productive. Because at the end of the day, we are lazy by nature. So leveraging better is turning out for me as a much better option rather than imposing myself to a greater degree. Okay, so I thought that this is going to be a tiny bit easier, but it's actually kind of hard. One other thing that I keep doing as a mistake, and I see it being done by also other people at the same time is this big necessity for, how should I say, is this big focus on perfect execution, like streaming every day or whatnot. And that's definitely 100% jumping the gun kind of situation. Yes, that is 100% preferred. It will always be better if we can execute better. But at the same time, there is a part of there is a piece of there is a path to it. So it's something that comes naturally. There is a training, there is training to it, there is taking your time. And just being here and just showing up. That's, by the way, why I haven't streamed in like a while. At the beginning, it was always like, yeah, I can't stream for half an hour, I can stream for an hour, I should be streaming for 4 or 5 or whatever is the magic number that some other streamer will tell you. And like, if I can't stream every day, that still doesn't work. And perhaps they are even right. I mean, they are most likely right. But it isn't very useful into achieving that goal. I think that's more of an end goal kind of situation. Yes, this is the desired path, but the desired path is not necessarily the one that you can follow or even should follow necessarily. It reminds me when I used to play LOL that I found out the best success in going up was always to play in some bespoke and bizarre way that you find fun and that you find that works for you. I think that carries on even to the drawing. Like, if it works for you, it's probably a good idea to keeping up. It's not even about authenticity, but it's more about using your taste to your in dragging in your taste in what you do. I think that's what makes it work. And then you will automatically want to do more of what you enjoy, especially if you do it in a way that it enjoys. I was strict into doing a more scholar-like approach when I discovered Drawbox. I was fresh off university, or I was still in there actually, but I was in the mindset of university. So my dumbass thought, well, that's just how you do. You just start and study. Then, little by little, you can start to incorporate what you have studied in what you do. Problem is, that works great when you study. Doesn't work that great when you doing something that's supposed to be on your free time and terms. Because when you study, there is some external force that is trying to like money that you have to take in consideration because you're taking a long time to get to take your degree. Right now, there is absolutely nobody who tries to make me stream or draw, and that will really cancel out whatever motivation you have. And the biggest part of my journey right now is to delete uh, this toxic idea, this toxic waste of, not say motivation, but more like I'm trying to not impose whatever in myself lately. Like learning that I don't have any impositions at the moment, which is very true. There isn't absolutely nobody who's out for who dictates what I do in this specific scenario. And I should remember and cherish that. Because that's not the case in my job. And I mean it in a good way. Like, of course, in my job, people are gonna expect me to do it in a in some manner. That's to be expected. But just because it is to be expected, it doesn't necessarily make it fun to do. I think to oh fuck they put it okay. Like two truths can be at once. I can understand that this is fair, but I don't like the idea of executing in that manner. All right, the glasses. Okay. So I think that this is going places. One very lucky part is that for the most, I've been met with positive reinforcement. So much so that the first time that I got some negative, I didn't overreact in the sense that I haven't overreact with the person that told me, but it was a very strong. I felt it in a stronger way than I expected. Because there was this girl who I believe, have studied drawing and gave up on it as a career option. I don't know if she keeps drawing on her own. But she asked like, why do you do it? Why are you learning to draw? Not in a innocent, curious. Oh, why are you doing? Like, I want to know the origin, but more like, why do you bother? And it felt extremely weird. Now, I was definitely hurt is a big word I think to use here, but more than that, it's I felt put down a little, only because maybe it didn't work out for her. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't work out for me in the sense that I'm not actually working as an artist, or nor I necessarily plan to do it. Not in the I want to switch careers sense, more like in a yes, if I can freelance myself way out, sure, why not? But the idea of switching career is never that appealing to me because at the end of the day, anything can be turned into a job. So the longer my drawing stays fun and something that I want to do, I'm gonna try to cherish that moment and not jump into the professional field or anything like that. I think that will definitely spoil my fun. Ah, fuck. Okay, I don't know why it were. Oh, maybe it was the grayscale. Whatever. So my biggest thing is not ending up in another day job. Like if it's meant to work out, I want it to work on my terms rather than again being shoved in a different kind of day job, but it's still a day job. Again, nothing against day jobs. I have one. I think they guarantee some, in Europe at least, they guarantee a lot of safety. And I think that they're generally a good deal. Problem is, unless you for some reason identify a lot with what's going on, my guess would be that, or at least I haven't been really interested in any of the products that I do. So unless I'm gonna start working on something for developers, there's not gonna be any time in which I will be excited about my day job. It's more like, yes, this is a day job. We start, we do, we clock out. And this is perfectly fine for me. Not gonna search motivation in most places, you know. Like there are some draining aspects and you just gotta have to live with it. They're absolutely not going away. And change day jobs, it's still not going to produce anything more than that. Even if there's artistic matter to it, because most of the time the art still gets drowned out. You see this in game development the most. But I wouldn't believe that even if it is not perceived as strong in other sides of development. Like sure, I think most web devs aren't that excited. But even if you work in a place like GitHub or whatever big company that has some product that people get dog food, I don't necessarily think that it's exciting. Could be something that's just a feeling from someone who doesn't get it. Part of it might be I don't have that strong of a work ethic. Used to have it, but I've lost it pretty quickly. Part of it is definitely the fact that I've had enough, or most of the time I was lucky enough to have a lot of. I was quick enough to cruise up until some point. Like up until university, I was quick enough that studying wasn't really a requirement. It was more like a thing that I have to do. In retrospect, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't. Well, this is the incorrect phrasing. I'm not disappointed in how it went because at the end of the day, I did get my degree. What's more likely is I'm sad that my appreciation wasn't there in the correct time, and I didn't build up a good 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 ethics in the work or the study department or whatever. I think that would benefit me a lot. Now I'm trying to put them out now, but it feels the same way that I'm feeling at the moment with the swimming. I never swam. I haven't had access when I was more, and studying how to swim now, it's feels harder than it is for people that already have the prior experience. Even more because most of the times they can't even speak on how to swim properly because that's something that just has been interiorized. Same goes for the work ethic. It's about small steps because haven't had it to begin with, or I've lost it because I discovered my ability to cruise, and it's very hard to undo bad habits. So we're gonna go one step at a time, little by little. See what it carries us. Twitch is a good place to start because Twitch, it is a lot about going to the motions. And going to the motions is definitely something that I need because the thing about Twitch is I'm not gonna see, like, I had more results than I imagined thanks to the advent of code, but I'm not gonna see any more anytime soon. So that's something that I have to keep in mind and still turn on the cam. And of course, it's annoying. It is 100% something that's only about me, and I'm the one that could change and should work on it. But it is about showing up at the end of the day. Like that's the skill that it's going to take off. Now, doesn't necessarily have to always. I'm not going to. I'm not pointing up to big streamer status. It will mostly be about helping out, like adding something different to stand out in my comic book release. Don't know, I'm not aware of any guys that stream as they do the comic book. Maybe like for some, uh, maybe in like some, I think one sometimes from time to time does stream. But my idea is it going to be like the usual. The unusual way would be if that day there was no streaming involved. And in that regard, I believe that this is fresh as an idea. Now, fresh is good, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's of interest. But that's part of the risk that it will be taken. Well, I'm saying risk, but it isn't. Comic books are very low on the risk meter, in the sense that I'm drawing at my account. So at the end of the day, worst that it happens, comic book never takes off. There's nothing, no money lost or anything. So that matches well with my personality. Also because economically speaking, I can't quite go the route of I'm actually trying to do it very much. And again, that will still ties out into the idea that even if I had the possibility to go foreign, that won't necessarily mean that make me any happier or feel in any stronger way. Like just because you can go professional won't necessarily mean anything. Not to yourself, not to what it represents. But yeah, dreams are something like that is one way to justify being in a constant pose. Because dreams tend to be about the next step always. But the next step is never here, so it is our empty chase 100% of the time. Because without them, I personally would be lost. Don't think that that's necessarily the not everybody is feeling the same way. My girlfriend is one of those that she just wants to chill out. And to be fair, there is this dichotomy that people that want to chill out sometimes feel pressured but about what they have to do. And vice versa, I kind of respect the idea of not chasing anything and just living it out. My hope will be that every time that I sink in activities that I don't want, the biggest would be social media, but generally speaking, there are a lot of activities that don't quite align with anything. Or what I say, I start to believe that some activities simply don't, like, not everything is created equal. And some activities are simply don't have any benefit, that not even in the sense of wasted time. Like, I don't believe a movie is wasted time or wasted effort. But social medias are a way to waste time without being entertained. I believe that that's the most inexcusable way to go about it. I can justify watching a movie, say, yeah, that was actually kind of cool, or that sucked. Like, even if it is maybe not the best movie, it still can be some experience which you can talk about. But consuming other kinds of information, it really is just a giant waste of time. In the more in the idea that it doesn't just provide with much. Of course, that has been also blown out of proportions because now everybody feels like they're wasting always time. It's not the case. Like, being present in the quality time with family and friends, that's always going to be a good idea, regardless of how much is going on in general in life. So that I it gets to the point in which I don't regret or overthink. It used to be that way, by the way. It used to be like, oh yeah, I'm here with my friends doing absolutely nothing that I should be doing. But at the end of the day, that nothing again is going to turn into nothing when you come home. Or even if you can, memories tend to be the things that last the most. Or experience. So let's not overshadow that. Okay, so this is the foreground. I don't know if I want to go any further. Just because there's a lot going on over here. And so this is already a lot. Think about tonight I can't finish it and I'm lagging behind. Saturday probably can get a little bit more. But yeah, now I'm adding the background today, later, try to catch up. So this is how it's done for today. See you tomorrow.